8 p.m. in the Thomas J. Smith Council Chambers. Would you all please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much. Kathleen, let's do roll call, please.
Rinker,
Here.
Wilson,
Here.
Phillips,
Here.
McCampbell,
Here.
Murray.
Here.
Okay, we have a lot on the agenda tonight, so we don't want to keep you too awful long, so we're going to roll right downhill. For those of that have seen the agenda, they know it's an inside joke. Mayor's Awards, we're going to be skipping tonight because we don't want them to try to get out in the bad weather, so we're going to, we'll be visiting them, who is Kay Russell, Margie Marshall, Barbara Carlson, Len Osinski, and Joanne Williams. We look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. On the agenda, first tonight is the consent agenda. All matters listed under item 1 consent agenda having been discussed are considered to be routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If a discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. Tonight we have the usual finances and miscellaneous, minutes of previous meetings, payroll and city claims, beer, liquor, wine, and cigarettes, reports, and bonds. We have 5 resolutions. First is resolution approving engagement. You know what? Don't.
I'm not.
I can see the look, man. The first is a resolution approving an engagement letter with Piper Jaffray and Company to serve as underwriter for issuance of $8,370,000 general obligation corporate purpose bonds, Series 2018A capital improvement projects for FY 2018-2019. The second is a resolution awarding contract for the Flint River Trail Phase 1 South Trail Project. The third is a resolution approving permanent and temporary easements with an Iowa International Investments, Inc. along Bluff Road for construction of the Flint River Trail. The fourth is a resolution approving temporary and permanent easements with Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad for work on the Mount Pleasant Street Bridge project. And the fifth is a resolution approving professional service agreement with ISG for design of the former Greer's Restaurant. We also have 4 public hearings set. The first is consideration of an application for CDBG pilot program, upper story rental rehab program funds through IEDA. It's February 20th. The second is consideration of approval of a development agreement with Park West LLC, including annual appropriation tax increment payments in an amount not to exceed $350,000. That is the 20th of February. The third is consideration of a general obligation loan agreement and principal amount not to exceed $8,500,000, March 5th. And then the fourth is consideration of 2018 amendment to urban renewal plan for Burlington consolidation. I apologize. It is the 2018 amendment to urban renewal plan for Burlington consolidated urban renewal area related to use of incremental property tax revenues for public improvements. That is also March 5th. And we also have 2 appointments. Mayor Pro Tem.
The first appointment is for the American Music Festival Board of Directors, and that will be Matthew Rinker. And the other is the Historic Preservation Commission with appointing David Rode and Hal Morton. We thank you for serving on those.
Okay. Is there anybody from the audience that would like to have any of the items from the consent removed? I see nobody running to the front, and Leon Shahan is not here. Had to throw that in there. Okay, council.
Your Honor, I have a motion to approve all items listed under item 1, consent agenda.
Second.
Moved in second. Kathleen, let's take the vote.
Rinker,
Aye.
Wilson,
Aye.
Phillips,
Aye.
McCampbell,
Aye.
Murray.
Aye.
Okay, before we get into the real heavy lifting tonight, we have another special moment that we just like to take. And this picture we'll be presenting tonight.
Ooh, sweet.
Order! This picture we're presenting tonight, as you can tell, is a lovely picture from back in the 80s.
Chief, what happened to the stash? What's up with the mullet?
Hey, that's the chief that Mary fell in love with. And so tonight, we get the opportunity, and all of you that are watching, for your viewing pleasure, there he is in all of his glory.
Have kind of a Super Troopers feel to it.
Absolutely.
It does.
Before we move forward, though, we want to treat this with the respect that it deserves, so I'm going to ask everybody to please give their score tonight. We'll start with you, Mr. Rinker.
Oh, my goodness. Is it 1 to 5 or 1 to
It's 1 to 10.
10?
10's good, 1 bad.
You know,
I didn't
Chief,
think-
I'm going to surprise
I
you.
didn't even think about the negative.
I'm going to surprise you with a 6, but that's for the stash only.
Well said, I appreciate that.
There you go.
Annie?
Okay, well. Okay. I was gonna give you a 10, but mustaches creep me out, so it's 6.
Oh, come on. Mustaches aren't that bad.
Mr. Phillips?
Man, I'm just hopeful I don't get a ticket tonight. You know, I got to give you a
Double
1.
parked.
I had
Oh.
a 3, but then I realized that's a mullet hanging back there. So it had to be, yeah, see it, the tail there? So I had to go with a 1. Sorry, Chief. Mullets, you know, I'm jealous, mullets, you know.
And peanut butter, what do you get for your final score?
I got in trouble for giving you too high of a score last time, and I don't like your tie, so I gave you a -3.
First
Very well.
negative scored.
I thought the
Nice
judges
job.
were very fair. Chief, would you please come up? We also know that in your day, we heard that they called your profession flatfoots, so we know that you've done a lot of walking around. And some days you just want to say, Calgon, take me away. So we got some of these camouflage socks. I think they've got arch supports on them too. So I hope that you enjoy those and maybe they'll help your feet disappear in your vacation time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Chief, would you like to have a word?
No, that's fine.
Can't get him to say a word, this guy. All righty then.
That's sweet.
Are those therapeutic socks then?
Yes, they're therapeutic socks. Okay, next we have, this resolution has already been introduced and seconded, so we're just going to open it for discussion and vote. This is for the resolution approving sale of property locally known as 424 North 3rd Street, City of Burlington, Iowa, with conditions continued from the January 15th, 2018 City Council meeting. Mr. Tisland?
I don't have anything
Jim?
new other
Mr.
than Jesse had said that they're still moving forward, want to move forward with the purchase of it.
Yeah, and the plan on that, they did mention that, I just talked to Jesse, and he said that everything is still in line. They don't have anything new to add beyond what they had presented with what their proposal was and what they're trying to accomplish with making that into a boutique hotel. The agreement that is in here before you has several limitations within it and milestones that have to be hit. The purchase allows, for $1. It allows the police department to stay in it through as late as August 1 for the transition to the new facility with no rent cost. We'd still be responsible for the normal wear and tear and utilities, et cetera, with it. They have 6 months to do demo on the structure, and they have
It's 120 days after they
120
gain
days.
possession.
And then they have 2 years after possession to construct a new structure on that site and invest up to at least $3 million and construct 30 rooms.
Yep.
Any other terms in there?
No, I think that's.
Since I haven't looked at it in
Like
2
the
weeks.
critical, or first one would be the 120 days for demo. If they don't accomplish that or move forward, then we would have a building to sell or market at that time as well.
Yeah, there's provision if they don't hit either of those milestones for us to have the property turned back to us.
Sounds good to me. Anybody from the audience, any questions or concerns? I see none. Council?
I take it that since this is before us, they were able to overcome whatever issues they were having?
Yes, they worked through the issues with the adjoining property owner.
Great.
Do they plan on demoing the building then? Is that the plan?
So
Instead of,
with the two structures, they will rehab the other
oh, okay,
facility.
for the purpose of historic.
The
yeah.
PD building itself, they would demo that. The cost for rehab and then the way it's cut up, just, it doesn't make sense from a cost-benefit perspective for them.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Phillips?
I don't have anything.
Peanut butter?
Ready to go on that one.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's take it to vote. Kathleen?
Rinker,
Aye.
Wilson,
Aye.
Phillips,
Yes.
McCampbell,
Absolutely.
Murray.
Yes.
Okay, good deal. Number 2.
Your Honor, I have before you a resolution approving an agreement between the City of Burlington and Lion Energy Incorporated for an all-night lighting service on South 10th Street.
Mr. McGregor.
Yes.
Good
Second.
Second. Mr. McGregor. Thanks.
In front of you is a resolution approving installation of a street light on the South 10th between Park Avenue and, I don't remember the street north of that. But in front of you on the map would be what the new installation would require, is running new line and pole down that side. It would be a cost of $2,056, and then the ongoing cost of $6.86. Based on the cost, and then after talking with PD on the current lighting, they did some risk analysis on that and would not recommend approving this.
Questions for Mr. McGregor? I got a question for you. So how do you feel about it personally? I really didn't want to ask.
My
that.
professional opinion is that there's adequate lighting on the corners. If they would like some lighting on their house, that there's available, and I've discussed this with the homeowner, that there's available security lighting. Just seeing the cost that we would incur to try and install the line, I don't think that it makes a lot of sense.
I'm glad you brought up the home security lights, though. I think my son's already put in like 4 or 5 within the last couple of months, so it really makes a big difference. So those people that are looking for that little extra, you don't have to go as far as to go through City Hall. You can take care of it yourself, and it's quite inexpensive as well, so.
Nick, I just had one question. I know we talked about it very briefly, but, so I went by these homes last night just to get an idea, because I knew it was on the agenda. In 2240 South 10th, it's pretty dark in that area, where some of the other streets that run parallel to that, both east and west, have lighting mid-street. This one doesn't. And I didn't know, was that due to the fact that they tore that road up this previous summer? Did
No,
they take a
the-
pole out, or was there just never one put in? And then guidelines-wise, what do we look for when we look at these requests? You said we don't have the ability to measure light, so is it just send somebody out and take a look, or?
Yep. So there was probably never a mid-light in this section because the power line runs down the alleyway, or where the alleyway would be
Yep, I
behind the
noticed
house.
that.
So there was probably never ever a light there. As far as what we look at, it's kind of a judgment call. What we've developed as of late is a conversation between Public Works and PD, and assessing kind of the lighting in that area. You could go very in-depth and have a lumen reader and go out there and have a standard that you set and take a lumen reading. For residential, it's a certain level. The SUDAS standards has a lumen level for a residential type area. So if we want to go into that type of analysis, you guys can set that, and we'll go off of that. But it's kind of just a judgment call on whether or not we think the lighting is needed.
Any other questions?
So PD did go look at this location. Okay.
Yeah, Nick will email these requests to me, and I send them down to the shift commander, and we have one commander, so it's consistent, the same guy's doing all of these requests. And we not only look at the lights, but we look at the crime in the area, the surrounding area, and is it comparatively safe, unsafe? You know, where does it come into that balance, and I use their judgment on that. They look at data and say, yeah, chief, I think this is justified. I think, one, it'd help reduce crime, and 2, there's not enough light. Or we think there's enough light. The crime is no really different than any other neighborhood that would compare to that in that location, if that makes sense. So we try to use a little bit of data to back our decisions.
Okay.
Not to say that something couldn't happen there tonight, that's not my point, but relatively, we have to try to use a few factors to come to somewhat of a consensus.
Okay.
Years and years ago, the city reduced street lighting in the community exponentially due to cost. And so since then, we try to evaluate each one of these requests as to maybe something absolutely necessary versus something that sure would be nice to have a light there. And try to get the word out, like the mayor was saying, you know, more than welcome to put up your security lighting yourself, so.
And we also need to, I also just want everybody to recognize too, it is sometimes we do get the effect of, because sometimes when something first gets started like this, it'll be, people will say, well, maybe we need to do the analysis, maybe we need to find out what exactly is going on. Usually when you start something new, usually you're going to get some extra requests just right off the bat, and then it'll phase itself out, just because sometimes you do get, they get a little bit more pop than I do. So I just throwing that out there as well.
Yeah,
So
we
it's
try to
never been
bring
an issue for.
some objectivity to the process, even though it is subjective.
And that's kind of what I was looking for, just like I said, I went and it was dark, that makes sense, we would want the light to be there, but are there other factors that we looked at? You've already outlined that.
Yeah, I
so.
mean, from a police perspective, we'd love to have
Yeah,
lights everywhere.
everywhere.
Absolutely, but we understand the constraints too.
Thank you.
Chief. You guys good?
I'm good.
All right, let's take it to vote. Kathleen?
Okay, and of course, I vote would mean you want the light in the area. Rinker,
No?
Wilson,
No.
Phillips,
No.
McCampbell,
No.
Murray.
No.
Okay. This is the time where we will entertain comments from the audience. Is there anybody from the audience who has any comments? I see none. You guys have been a lovely audience tonight, just for the record. Mr. Tisland? Kathleen? Peanut butter popcorn? Nothing? Mrs. Murray? Okay. Mr. Billups?
I have nothing.
I want to say thank you to Mrs. Shepherd's class. Thanks for the invitation. It was an awesome day. Your kids are awesome. Also want to say thank you to Levi Hartzell, who watches the meetings and who vigorously waved to me on my way down to the meeting tonight when he was outside shoveling his walk. So hi there to my friend Levi. And I was supposed to thank somebody else. Also, Gary Chapman. Thanks, Chap, for the invite. Saturday morning, we had good conversation, and I appreciate the invitation. I know I'm forgetting somebody, but I'll think of it next time. Mayor Pro Tem. I'm forgetting who you are. Who are you?
Just some fun things, of course, going on downtown. There's the Chocoholic Frolic. So that's going on, obviously on Jefferson, and then a little bit throughout the side streets. And, of course, then you have to stop by the Capitol Theater and watch Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So,
It's classic.
The
Yeah.
Johnny Depp version or the
No.
Gene Wilder?
yeah.
All right.
The best one.
Yeah, the best one.
Yeah.
The best one. So, I know it's cold and maybe it'll warm up, but try to get out there and enjoy what we have to offer. That's all I have.
Mr. Rinker.
Everybody drive safe.
Oh,
Everybody that
yes.
can hear us, drive safe. On the way home from the office tonight, I saw about 4 or 5 cars almost go off the road. On the way down here, I saw another 4 or 5. So sounds like law enforcement and fire are gonna be busy tonight, probably. Hopefully not, but everybody drive safe.
No doubt.
Thank you.
Jim Furneaux.
Public Works is definitely busy out plowing.
Yes.
And during the Chocoholic Frolic on Saturday, you are also welcome to stop by Burlington by the Book. Miss Elaine Printy will be doing a book signing. She's from Carthage, Illinois, a local author. And so just give her all the support you can. Not that anyone here probably knows her, but good friend of our family, so.
It's always fun having the authors there.
Yes. Next regular meeting is on Tuesday as opposed to Monday because of President's Day. So just that's a reminder for folks, 2 weeks. We will not be on our normal Monday schedule. And it looks like I'm on the radio for Wednesday, so, and that's it.
Okay, I would just like to close out again before we leave with a shot. Is the camera on that?
Did you have something?
I just want to close. I want
I'm sorry.
do we have somebody else?
We need to let Nick come up, just kind of talk about
That's fine.
what's
Just leave that
happened
up
with
until
our-
we close out.
Yeah.
Just leave it up.
Yeah, it's a good picture to have up.
Especially in the frame of reference of a sewer line, right?
Oh, that went there. I don't have to worry about my ticket.
He's going to take ours tonight. We're going to take one for the team. Go ahead, man.
You're welcome. We have excavated down, the contractor has excavated down on the South 8th Street sewer leak. We have gotten down to where the leak is. They have found some line. I think you got an email last week about the line in between the 2 spot fixes that we're going to try and take care of. Hopefully they're able to continue to working even with the snow, but they may be halted for a couple days until they
Goodness
are able
gracious.
to get
Didn't
back
they say
in.
parts of it were from 1910, almost as old as the chief?
This is awesome.
This is like
You
a
know, I
roast
couldn't ask
right
for this
here.
to go any better. I just, bless you all.
Nick,
Bless
so,
you all.
so do they tear out all the old line and replace it? Do they line the old line to make it so that it's not leaking anymore? How do they?
They at the manhole, they tore it out back to, well, they were going to do 2 spot fixes, but now they'll drop in new line from the manhole all the way back to where it's a little newer line.
So do they tear up all the concrete that runs from there to the street?
It's in the alley, or what would
Okay.
be the alley.
All right.
So that's a liner that's going in, or?
That is a new line.
Okay.
It'll be new, it's plastic. There's some acronym that I don't know, it's not HDP or something, but it's something like that.
CBD or something like that.
You know, we had an estimate of cost, it was about
It's gonna be
90
more.
90,000.
90,000.
And it was time and material, and this is gonna add time and material both to.
Your email said 40,000?
So it'll be more like a $130,000 total project.
All right.
You can't do anything about it. You just gotta
I think
fix
it's
it.
gonna be over 100 grand, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for Nick? Thanks for being the bearer of bad news. I thought that was Jim's job.
That's why Jim brought him up.
That's what, thanks for bringing that up.
I've tried to spread it out.
Yeah.
All right, keep spreading. All right, again, we just want to, we want to thank our chief for all the hard work. Look at that baby face. I'll tell you what, I bet you're your mother's favorite. All right, so if there's nothing else tonight,
But hey, I just want to thank the Eagles fans that live in town for not tearing up our city. You know, Cubs fans waited a lot longer, so you didn't have any real right to do so.
all right. Mr. Kreitzer, good to see you. Can I get a motion to close?
I move that we close this meeting.
And
Second.
Moved in second. Kathleen?
Rinker,
Aye.
Wilson,
Aye.
Phillips,
Aye.
McCampbell,
Yes, please.
Murray.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
I just got an idea for you.
What? Ooh.
Should I go?